Hello there guys, welcome to another of my videos. This is your Manchester United Watford preview in the FA Cup third round. It is on Saturday night, 8 o'clock kickoff at Old Trafford. Now we have played Watford in the FA Cup on 6 previous occasions. The most recent was April 2007 when we beat them 4-1 in the semi-final. Now Watford are currently sitting 6th in the Championship. Their current manager is Cisco. They appointed him in not too long ago. They did have Vladimir Ivic, but they did sack him back in December. I thought they actually still had Vladimir Ivic. Obviously, before they had Nigel Pearson. Nigel Pearson was with them for quite a while. Now, obviously, Watford's key players are Troy Deeney and Ismail Assar. They've obviously got Glenn Murray. They obviously got him on loan from Brighton. They've got James Garner. They got him on loan from us. But James Garner is prevented from playing against his parent club due to FA rules. They've also got Tom Cleverley. He's a former Manchester United player. They have got a few injuries of Watford. It says here that Quinnia has been injured. Isaac Success has also been injured. Christian Cabasiel has been injured. Craig Cathcart and Joe Pedro has been injured. So Watford have got quite a few injuries. Now, the last time we played Watford was in February last year. We beaten them 3-0 at Old Trafford. Now, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to make a lot of rotation in the squad, and he's already said that he is going to rest quite a few players, because obviously Burnley's coming up. Burnley is our game in the hand. We were supposed to be playing Burnley on the opening day of the season, but obviously it got postponed. You know, if we do beat Burnley, we will be 3 points clear of Liverpool, and after Burnley, it is Liverpool, and that's going to be a massive game. But I've got to say, the FA Cup is a priority for us. You know, it is a chance of a trophy. You know, we've won the FA Cup 12 times. So we are the second most successful team in FA Cup history. Now, the last time we won the FA Cup was back under Louis van Gaal, back in 2016. We obviously got to the semi-finals of the FA Cup last season, but we did lose to Chelsea by 3-1. Obviously, we know that Cavani is not going to be available for this game. Cavani's just got one match now to serve, and I think Phil Jones is still out with injury. We have got to bounce back from our 2-0 loss against Manchester City. Manchester City recently knocked us out of the EFL Cup semi-final. City have reached their fourth consecutive League Cup final, and it's the second season in a row they've knocked us out of the semi-final. and it was our 4th semi-final defeat in a row under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gave his perception on our 2-0 loss to Man City, and he says we weren't good enough. He says we are getting closer, but he did suggest that City are the best team in England. And he was saying prior to the game against Manchester City that Man United have no excuse for another loss in the semi-final because we lost 3 semi-finals last season. I thought we had the chance of beating City though, because we was going into that game in a good vein of form, but so too were City. They were going into that game in a good vein of form. So hopefully the City game is just a blip. Now on my next video, I will be giving you my starting 11 prediction for this game against Watford. Now, just want to delve into some news on Amad Diallo Traore. So, it is official. Manchester United have signed Amad Diallo Traore. Well, obviously, we did sign him during the summer, but obviously, it wasn't official. I think we have got him in a deal worth £37 million. I think obviously we've paid 19 million up front and there's 18 million in add-ons. And he has signed a 4.5-year deal. So I think he's under contract on Man United until June 2025. Don't forget, Atlanta wanted Amad Diallo Traore back on loan for the remainder of the season, but we rejected that offer. Solskjaer did say though, didn't he, that he's excited about him coming in. I think he's going to go in the under-23s and then he's going to work his way up to the first team. So that's the breaking news on that. He's had his medical and he has agreed the personal terms. Now obviously, we are looking to make signings in this January transfer window. This is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as Manchester United manager. And like I updated you earlier on, you've got to say so far he has been let down in another transfer window. Ed Woodward has said that he will back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, in this January transfer window. But Solskjaer does deserve more backing at the football club because last summer he wasn't backed enough by the board, and Solskjaer showed his frustration towards the board quite a few times last summer because we missed out on all of his priority targets. But Woodward has come out several times to support Solskjaer, despite us having a poor start to the season and despite us getting knocked out of the Champions League. Woodward did say last year, we will back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows, because it did say a couple of times towards the end of last year that we don't expect a busy January transfer window. But Woodward is confident of success under Ole. Woodward's been at the football club since 2012 and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. Solskjaer has actually said that we need to make a few more signings if we are to be title contenders. And I think Solskjaer's ready to spend big for the title. I'm not actually sure what his transfer budget is for this January transfer window. Anyway, you know the news on Moises Caicedo. I updated you about him earlier on. His transfer to Manchester United is a delay because of the work permit problem. Independiente del Valle recently denied that Man United made contact over a move for Moises Caicedo. And it said that Independiente del Valle increased their asking price to around 10 million euros. It said back in December we were trying to finalise a deal in the region of 6 million euros. And it said there would be a 20% sell-on, a 20% clause included. And it does mention that Everton and Chelsea are now interested in him. But Moises Caicedo has already revealed that his favourite club is Manchester United. Now, as you all know, he made his debut for Independiente del Valle around 15 months ago. And he's played around 4 times for Ecuador. So if we do sign Moises Caicedo, he will be the second Ecuadorian to represent Man United after Antonio Valencia. Now, you know the news on Jack Grealish. It said that Man United could sign Jack Grealish this summer if we sell Paul Pogba. So Grealish's transfer to Man United is possible. Like I updated you last Friday night, Solskjaer spoke to Jack Grealish. And reflecting on that, some of our fans were speculating that he could make a move to Man United. Now, Villa do want at least £90 million for Grealish. During the summer, their valuation was around £80 million. And obviously that put us off, and we also had element of concerns about where he would fit in the team. Back in September, Grealish signed a 5-year contract with Aston Villa. Most of the time now he plays on that left-hand side for Villa, and up until this point he's spent the entirety of his career with Villa. And Rio Ferdinand has urged us to sign Jack Grealish. You already know the news on Erling Haaland. I give you the news on him earlier on this week. Reportedly now, Erling Haaland is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority. And he wants to sign him instead of Jadon Sancho. So there has been a lot of players on our agenda. Solskjaer recently held talks with 6 players he wants to get rid of in this January transfer window. Now, I think the players we are going to get rid of is Jesse Lingard. I think we're also going to get rid of Jones. We're going to get rid of Rojo. We're going to get rid of Sergio Romero. I think Diallo will leave this month. His loan expires on the 31st of January. Daniel James, I think he'll go out on loan. And I think Brandon Williams will go out on loan. And obviously, quite a few players will leave Man United in the summer. There is 3 trophies now that we can pursue this season. We can win the Premier League title, we can win the FA Cup, and we can also win the Europa League. We are certainly in the title race because we are joint top of the Premier League. No one thought we'd have been joint top of the Premier League, in 2021 and at the end of 2020, because we was poor at the beginning of last year, we was poor at the start of this season, and we was poor at the first part of last season. Don't forget, Solskjaer did say after our 1-0 win against Wolves that we are not in the title races yet, but that's Solskjaer playing mind games. But he says if we are challenging at the top in March, he will start to believe that we are in the title race. And I'll stick to what I said. I'm very sceptical that we'll win the Premier League title this season. But I think at some point we'll win another Premier League title. If we do win the Premier League, it will be our 21st title overall. And it will be our first Premier League title since 2013. But like I said to you on my recent video, we cannot win the big games under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That has been proven this season. We haven't beaten Tottenham, we haven't beaten City yet, we haven't beaten Arsenal, we haven't beaten Chelsea, we haven't beat Leicester. We haven't played Liverpool as yet. We did beat a few big teams last season. We obviously beat Chelsea 3 times and, we beat Manchester City 3 times. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't under any pressure or isn't under much pressure at the moment at Man United because we have been in a good vein of form recently. We are unbeaten in our last 10 league games. The defeat to City won't put Solskjaer under pressure that much, but if we are to be winless in our next 4 or 5 games, then more and more pressure will start to build up on him. You know what I mean? I still think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will still be Man United manager at the end of this season. He probably will be given another season at the club, and if he is, that will be his 3rd full season at Manchester United. This is his 2nd full season at the moment, and I did say this was always going to be a big season for him. And I said what would represent a good season, and that would be to finish in the top 4, the top 3, and win a trophy. And that would give us something to build on. Now, there's some Man United fans that are Ole out, but there's also some Man United fans that are Ole in. Now, there's a few Man United fans, including me, that have been slowly starting to change their perception on Solskjaer, and they are starting to believe that he is the right manager for Manchester United. But I was very, very critical of Solskjaer earlier on in the season. I was demanding him out of the football club. You can say Solskjaer's learned quite a bit at Man United, and he has gained some managerial experience, reflecting now on he's been at the club. He's been Man United manager now for just over 2 years. We appointed him in December 2018 to replace Mourinho, and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. And we're giving the job permanently, reflecting on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. Solskjaer has managed over 100 games as Man United manager in all competitions, and he has got a contract with the football club until 2022. I've said to you time and time again, the thing that concerns me about Solskjaer is his decision making, because in a lot of his games at Man United, his decision making has been poor, and reflects on that has cost us games. Now in the City game recently, you can say Solskjaer was naive. Some United fans would say we should have put David De Gea in net instead of Dean Henderson for the semi-final, but Dean Henderson, plays a lot in the Carabao Cup, and that game against City yesterday night was his Old Trafford career debut. You can say maybe he should have started Donny van der Beek. Donny van der Beek came on with 2 minutes to go, and a lot of Man United fans were infuriated by that. Maybe we should have started Bay in the game. Bay didn't play any part, and Bay's done very, very well since he started playing again. Bay started our last 4 games prior to the game yesterday night. No doubt Edison Cavani would have played if he would have been available. Should we have started Matic instead of McTominay? So yeah, but in some games, Solskjaer shows tactical flexibility, but he's got to do that persistently, hasn't he? But we've still got to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot of credit. At the end of the day, he's got us joint top of the Premier League table. Like I said, we'll go top if we beat Burnley, and we'll go 6 points clear if we beat Liverpool. Liverpool's going to be a tough game, though, but Liverpool have been in a bad vein of form recently. He did get us to the EFL Cup semi-final, but obviously that's not enough. It was a shame Solskjaer didn't reach his first final as Man United manager. He did well last season in his first full season. He got us qualification for the Champions League. He got us third, and he guided us to 3 semi-finals. He's made good signings since he got appointed in as Man United manager. He's spent over £200 million at the club. We've seen a lot of players leave since he got recommended in. And we have enjoyed good periods under him. Despite the City defeat, we're still enjoying a good period under him at the moment. And we went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions last season. We was 14 unbeaten in the Premier League. So we have got to give him credit. Bruno Fernandes has obviously been part of our improvement as well, because he has made the difference in the team. But you can say that Solskjaer is lucky to still be Manchester United manager. Obviously, our board have a soft stance on Solskjaer, like I've said before, because he is a club legend. Disregarding being a club legend, I think our board would have been more ruthless than him, but you can say that he was lucky not to be sacked after us getting knocked out of the Champions League. You can say he was lucky not to be sacked after us losing 6-1 to Tottenham earlier on in the season. You can say he was lucky not to be sacked at the first part of last season, because if it had been any other manager, they probably would have been sacked, even though we're not really known as a sacking football club. We have done very, very well away from home in the Premier League this season. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League this season. We've won 4 games at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season. But like I said, when Solskjaer came into the club, he was inheriting a lot of deadwood. Like I said, he's got rid of some of the deadwood, but he's still inheriting some deadwood now. The vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's. There's only a couple of players here from the Van Gaal era. There's only one player here from the Moyes era. And I think there's only 2 players here now from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Manchester United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club inside out. But you can say he's done well to say he's not a manager at the top level. The question is, if he's given the time that he wants, can he emulate into a top level manager? Because he hasn't got that proven pedigree as a manager. Before he came to Man United, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. But since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, we have been playing catch-up. We've sacked 3 managers since Ferguson left, and that was David Moyes. We sacked him after 10 months. He's enjoyed the shortest tenure at the club, hasn't he? We finished 7th under the David Moyes era. That's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League era. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite him winning the FA Cup. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite him winning 3 trophies in his first season. I give you the reasons why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board, bad disputes with the top players. He had bad disputes with Martial, Shaw, Rashford and Pogba and all of that. And the board weren't backing the signings that I wanted to recommend into the club. So Ollie is our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson left. Putting the stats into circulation now, you can say Solskjaer is the best manager since Sir Alex Ferguson left. He's certainly a much better manager than David Moyes was. Solskjaer is starting to bring the good times back to Manchester United. But like I've said to you so many times before, no one will replicate Sir Alex Ferguson's legacy at the club, and no one will last as long as he did. Ferguson endured 27 years at Man United, won a total of 38 major honours, including 13 Premier League titles. But he didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the club. And not every manager does settle in straight away. Jurgen Klopp didn't settle in straight away at Liverpool, but look how good he is now. But since Ferguson's left, we haven't been the same team. And before Ferguson came into the equation, we wasn't good. Because we weren't good under Ron Atkinson, we weren't good under Wolf McGuinness, and we certainly weren't that good under Frank O'Farrell, because we got relegated under Frank O'Farrell back in 1974. You know, like I've said to you, we have got some good players in our team. It's certainly good enough for the top 4 finish, but analysing our squad at the moment, it is not good enough to win the Premier League title. That's why we do need some more signings. But we've got, Marcus Rashford, that's a very good player. We've got Fernandes, that's an exceptional player. We've got Cavani, that's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Man United career. Mason Greenwood's a good player. Hasn't been playing a lot, though, recently. Donny van der Beek's good. That's when he plays. He seldom starts in the Premier League, Donny van der Beek. And Solskjaer, has said that Donny van der Beek will have to wait for his Man United chance, but he insists that he has a bright future at Man United, and he tips Donny van der Beek to emulate Fred and Lindelof by succeeding at Man United. He's been actually told to pack his bags as Donny van der Beek. We got him in a deal worth £40 million. I think Fred has enjoyed good games this season. I think Luke Shaw's been good, but he's too injury prone. I think Alex Telles, he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Man United career, but he's had a couple of bad games. Harry Maguire, he's done well in games this season, but he's also had a few bad games. But good to see him bounce back from his early season troubles. He had that incident in Greece before the start of the season. Eric Bailly's a very good centre-half, but again, too injury-prone. And Wan-Bissaka, he's a good right-back, but we've got concerns about his lack of attacking intent and his distribution. David De Gea, he's getting back to his best form. David De Gea's been a long servant at the club. This is his 10th season at Manchester United. And I said he will remain our number 1 for now. Martial has been good recently, but he wasn't too good against City. But in the games before City recently, he's been more clinical in front of goal. So there you go. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you for today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.